To understand sea level rise, you must understand its cause. Climate change is our planet's current trend of warming and is caused by heat-trapping gases including carbon dioxide or CO2. As these gases are released as pollution, they enter our atmosphere and absorb heat energy from the sun, which then warms the Earth. As the effects of climate change grow, we can expect more fires and droughts, as well as more extreme storms, rainfall, and flooding.
But how does this cause sea level rise? Well, climate change's increase in temperature melts ice sheets in places like Antarctica and Greenland. As this ice melts into our oceans, the sea levels rise. Temperature rising also warms the oceans, and as the water warms, it expands and rises. These two factors, the loss of land ice and thermal expansion, are the two major causes of global sea level rise.
How much is sea level rising? Global sea level has risen about 8 inches since reliable record keeping began in 1880. Sea levels along the U.S. coast and Gulf of Mexico are rising much faster. The average is projected to rise another 1 to 4 feet by 2100. 147 million to 216 million people worldwide can expect to see their homes submerged or put at risk for regular flooding by 2100. In the U.S. alone, nearly 5 million people live within 4 feet of the local high tide level, also known as mean higher high water. In the next several decades, storm surges and high tides could combine with sea level rise and coastal erosion to further increase flooding in many of these regions.
If approximations remain true, major U.S. cities such as Miami, Boston, New York City, Honolulu, New Orleans, and Los Angeles will become engulfed by rising seas within the next 35 to 50 years.
What other effects can sea level rise have? Due to sea level rise, coastal habitats can be submerged and washed away, leaving marine organisms, birds, and terrestrial vegetation without a home.
What does sea level rise look like today? Well, in low-lying areas like Bangladesh, scientists expect rising sea levels to submerge 17% of the country and displace 18 million people in the next 40 years.
What can we do to combat sea level rise, you ask? The most effective way to slow sea level rise is to reduce our overall impact on climate change, as individuals and as a nation. Taking advantage of reusable energy sources like wind, solar, geothermal, and bioenergy instead of greenhouse gas producing sources like coal and oil is one method to reduce emissions. With only 5% of the world population, the United States produces nearly 25% of annual global heat trapping emissions. We should do everything we can to help the cause. Every bit of help matters. On a smaller scale, do your part to conserve energy. Bike, walk, or carpool more often. Use reusable bottles or cups, turn off lights and appliances when they're not in use, and cut your shower time. These are all easy ways to reduce your climate change impact. Oh, and don't forget to properly recycle.